What is up, y'all? It is Paris Timpet, Paris TTMPPED, TTMPPED, and the craziest shit happened. It's a beautiful ass day. It's been cold every goddamn. When I tell you it's been cold every day, I can't do this shit. This shit ain't for me. I've been doing videos in that goddamn car, but it's a beautiful day. Like, it's not even windy. I wish I would have charged my camera. Today's video is going to be about am I religious? Since I'm trans, like, what is my thoughts on all that and my take on people who have those kind of thoughts? Because I feel like we don't talk about that. I don't see no trans people bringing up religion. We keep religion out of the conversation because everybody, everywhere, every color, everything has their own idea of God. Even people who best praising the same one or praise nothing, they all have their own mindset and opinion, and I feel like I just want to share mine. So I grew up in church. Some people don't believe me, but I did. I grew up going to church every single Sunday. My mom had a pastor come and pick me up when I was a child, so she would come pick all these kids up that lived in the same town as me, and we would all go to church. And I'm not even gonna lie, at that time I was daydreaming. I was not paying. I don't know. It was just so boring to me. Like, I would go to church and be like, I mean, some of the stories was hitting. Like, if it was a good story told by someone that really knew how to story tell, I would be interested. But once I was getting all this, like, being told what to do and all this advice, I'm not gonna lie, I would be zoned out. And so at an early age, I just didn't like church. I liked the music. I liked, the people. But for some odd reason, I didn't like the church itself, what they were teaching. But when I would find myself in, like, these really bad circumstances where I thought I was gonna get my ass beat by my mom or bad shit would be happening, I would find myself, like, praying, like, God, like, you're there, right? Please save me from all this. And I would find myself, really going to whatever was outside of me because I would feel completely alone. Before I ran away at 16, the day before, I think I have a video of it, I started singing this song and I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know where I'll be tomorrow. I'm gonna be honest. I'm confused. So I don't know what. I was like singing about needing guidance, and I did that many, many, many times. So it was almost like I unconsciously did believe in this God or this thing that was above me that would guide me, because there would be so many decisions I made that would mysteriously work out despite my lack of proper guidance from my parents. If they would guide me, sometimes give me good advice, but when I needed, like, emotional support and knowing how to grow up, and when I would feel alone and have no friends, I was kind of left alone in that. Now, I was taught young that the LGBT plus, that whole community, wasn't for God. But at the same time, in that same breath, I was told not to judge. My pastor, before she passed away of breast cancer, she had this one person that came to our church that was like, I'm pretty sure they were lesbian. They could have just not been, they maybe been coming to church just not dressed up. But from what I could remember and them saying about her and everything like that in the church, I got an idea of maybe, like, she likes women or something like that, or maybe she's just more masculine. But when she would come, she was welcome with open arms whenever she was ready to come back. And it was beautiful because I was taught young just to let people be themselves. We had people. I had people in my life coming in and out that just gave off a very interesting kind of personality, and I'm like, But because I was the black sheep, the weird person of the household, I had no room to speak. So it was very LGBT plus was, I young, like, liked women, but I didn't think I was gonna go to hell. You know what I'm saying? I always, like, would see those movies and different things that would always bring up, God loves everybody. As a child, I didn't think of God much, but I did think of angels. I always thought that there was something that was whispering positive words and good guidance to me that I just, couldn't see, because, like I said, I can remember, I would have these tantrums as a kid, and I would have this voice in my head that would be like, you don't have to react this way. Like, you doing this may be making it worse. It was like this voice that just understood. And no matter how young I was, it was always a very mature voice. And that voice I would eventually give into the voice, and my life would change drastically. Like, I remember in school, I wouldn't pay attention, and I had this voice in my head that was like, just, you got to try to pay attention. Like, if you try, you just never know. And I gave it a shot, and I got really good at school. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, I guess it was my higher self. I don't know. It was God in my mind. It was that guidance that we were trying to be taught, like the guidance that everybody in the Bible was being given. That's my mind. So when I was 20, okay, this story will take a left turn. When I was 20 years old, I did a psychedelic for the first time, and it was crazy. I was tripping, and I kept saying Lord Jesus over and over, and I was creeping out my fucking friend because I kept saying Lord Jesus. And everywhere I would look, everything had texture, and I could see smiling faces and everything. And for some odd reason, all I can think to myself was like, this world is alive. Like, there is definitely a God, and I'm just a small part of this big ass textured puzzle. Whether I sound crazy or not, like, that's just how my brain internalizes and understands it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is more, and also less than I think. Like, it's not that big of a deal, but this is huge. Like, whether I was tripping, hallucinating, or what, the all I can think, because I knew I was tripping, I knew I was hallucinating, I knew all that shit, but a part of me was just like, the world is alive, everything has breath. Maybe not that kind of breath, but even pieces of sand. Like, this is a big, like, who the fuck made all this? I mean, I know we built all the structures and stuff, but who even gave us that idea? It's just, I started getting a lot of questions after that moment about just creation and what's making us do what we do. How the fuck was I hallucinating? Like, was that just pieces of what I seen on TV? Who gave the person the idea to make a TV? Who gives me the ideas to make these videos and to say what I say and make my music? Who the fuck is that? And it's just like one of those things where I start to see that we are just like we are like a robot of the universe, like doing a piece, like the water always flowing, doing what it needs to do. We're just in our own form. And as I got older, I realized the way I see God and the way I see creation and everything has a lot more depth to it, which I think everybody does, in their own way. But because of that, I'm learning that this world, accidentally, we all judge each other. Whenever I get into religion, I just get nervous about the judgment and everyone's perspective. But the more open I actually get about my opinion, the more acceptance and understanding I seem to get. I'm realizing that everybody actually has that question in those conversations, but we're just not having it with each other. We're either only having it in our own churches or groups or whatever, or we're just keeping it to ourselves because we don't understand. And I think I was a part of that. And the more understanding I get, the more my world makes sense. I had like a very spiritual part of, like, my psychedelic 2020 experience made me have a very spiritual kind of take on it. But then as I got older, it became spiritually religious, because I was realizing, we have to follow our intuition. Animals do it all the time. We're always afraid to put those words onto it. And I feel like those words I learned through, thank goodness, spirituality. It makes me understand the Bible a little bit more. And it makes me understand that we do have a purpose. Sometimes people read the Bible and don't realize that this making us realize we're going to have our own testimony, and we're going to be able to, grow in a really beautiful way. If we allow ourselves to. And we allow ourselves to keep evolving. I feel like whenever I'm not whenever, I'm trying to do it more frequently, but whenever I was in really bad times, I had to really just let it go. And before, I was putting hard God, I was saying it was the universe, because I'm like, whatever is kind of sewing this shit together, please lead me on the right path, on the right track. Don't make me make a decision that's going to ruin everything. And I'm learning, I feel like the more I kind of get into religion and spirituality, I became less depressed. I was very depressed when I was in that spiritual part before the God part, because I feel like I was giving it to the universe, but it was still not fixing itself. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm still, like, everything is still not good. I still feel sad. And then I learned about being grateful and acceptance and expressing desires and saying what I want and going for what I want, and understanding that if I want to win the game, I gotta at least play it. I used to want to be on this earth and everything kind of just work out for itself. And once I kind of give it into, like, learning about God and stuff, I learned that I'm on my own journey. I'm being given with mixing with spirituality. I'm like being given a chance to be an expression of consciousness out loud. If I have desires, I have to chase them. I can't listen to everybody else's desires and everybody else's wants and needs, because then it'll take me off on my own path. And I feel like I didn't really get here until I gave in to that voice that I was always calling to when things were getting hard. And mysteriously enough, things did work out, whether it worked out by not working out or worked out by working out. And I'm realizing this is beyond me letting it, giving the actual heaviness of it up. It allows me to handle it. It makes me realize I can handle this, because this isn't me. I'm just experiencing it. Oh, it's so deep. And I have been kind of dancing around talking about my opinion on this on my channel, because literally I'm considered that really deep friend, that spiritual friend, the weird friend. I mean, maybe it's in my mind and it's a projection, but that's how it comes off when I talk about it, and no one wants to talk back. And I know it's certain people, because there are so many times where I get here and I end up having these hour-long conversations with people who are just willing to go down to those pits with me in conversation. But I'm realizing in this channel, like, I want to be open about my opinion, because I feel like that is something that it's like mixed just as big in my trans journey. But when I first transitioned, I wasn't really anything. I was just existing in life. I was me. I was kind of molding my character first before I gave it a fucking personality. I was me. I still had personality, but it was more unconscious rather than purposeful. And it still is unconscious, but I feel like now it has more purpose. If you're catching what I'm throwing. But yeah, it's like I became like, once it's mixed in my confidence in myself. I feel like I'm just expressing my higher up desires, my God desires, my whatever, the universe's desires. I'm just my own plant expressing my own way. And if I don't see myself that way, I feel like it starts to get a little bit confusing. If I put myself too much in this body, or if I think too much about what I want and all this, I kind of jump out and it gets crazy. And I feel like that's what we're all doing every day. We're trying to put hard definitions on ourselves, and we transition, and now we're trying to put ourselves in that box. If no one else was on earth, who would you be? And that's who you are with all the people here. They're just helping you define it a little bit more, give it more tweak, give it more spaz, because now you have people here and on earth that are reacting, or that you can grow from by perceiving. It's like a flower seeing other flowers and going, let me be more of my own flower and sprouting more. I don't know if, however you want to internalize it. And it's hard for me to, I feel like, even progress without me giving into this part of myself. And I'm learning, those that understand me will, and those that don't won't. And that's why I say that we're our own community. We have a understanding of life that some will never understand, because they're on their own journey, they're on their own path. I'm not trying to say don't talk to people who aren't you. I'm just saying make sure that you understand who you are. And I don't think you have to decide if you're religious or not. That's not the point of the video. I feel like it's more so my own opinion of just religion. But it's to say that I do feel religion has glowed me up. The more I kind of fall into just understanding that there is something above me, that, I mean, whether we want to believe it or not, it's the truth. We literally came into this earth and it was already freaking here. Like, this was not, So it's just, I'm just, learning that, me kind of understanding that, and understanding that I'm just like a part of the texture, and I can't want to change myself. I have to just be myself, and that's why we are here, because we're just being ourselves, and it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, I had to understand that the voice was always in my head, the voice of guidance, and it's beautiful if you want to allow it to be. Some people may call you crazy, but we all have that intuition. Animals have it. It's just we are afraid to. By we, I mean, I guess I was afraid to just be and understand where my head's at with certain things. Understanding my beliefs have helped me kind of redefine my morals. It helps me realize I'm an evolving being, and I have to keep growing in order to keep evolving and going to my next step. I do feel like, if you are going through that depression, that confusion, that what do? I'm not trying to say as God, but because you really never know like who you've been following this whole time. Sometimes it could be just fear, and there's a part of you that wants to just glow in the light that can't, because you've been putting yourself in a box, or afraid. If you can't be yourself at home, get your ass out the house and be yourself. Let that person be expressed. You know what I'm saying? The more I was hiding this inside of me for a very long time, and people just didn't understand me because they only saw my shell, but my shell will keep evolving the more I let my mind. You have to believe you are who you are and trust that. You don't need anybody's permission, you know what I'm saying? And that's what religion taught me. It's so deep. But I think it's just because I'm on my own path with it, and I'm taking what I resonate with, and I leave what's not resonating, and that's that simple. Life can be simple, and like I said, the trick to life really is play the game. It's like these simple things that I learned, giving into religion and understanding that God kind of, I don't know, and this is gonna be a very I am nervous to post this one, because I feel like I said, I don't talk about this stuff because this can really pull or repel people. But I'm like, what the hell does that mean? This is my channel. Anyway, I said, that's the ego, all that shit, talking and worries. But this channel has to be lit, y'all. The weather's getting nice. Y'all ain't ready. Y'all not ready. Are y'all excited? If you made this far in the video, just comment down below. Be who you are for your pride. Talk to y'all soon. Paris out.